Well, I am flying to Wuhan, China tomorrow, and to be honest, I'm a little freaked out about what I read recently. A couple months ago, there was this senior executive at Volkswagen. He worked in Beijing. He was a German man working in Beijing. He came to Thailand on holiday, and when he returned to Beijing, the authorities detained him, tested his blood, found traces of cannabis. He was arrested and eventually deported out of China. A little background information before I continue. Cannabis became legal for personal use here in Thailand in 2022, within limits, of course. And you see shops all over. Oh my God, in Chiang Mai, you couldn't throw a cat without hitting a cannabis shop. And wow, that's kind of pretty back there. And ever since then, apparently, obviously based on this German executive, the Chinese have been on high alert. Uh-oh, I see a dangerous lizard. Pretending to be a statue. All right, I will leave him alone. All right, where was I? Yeah, so basically cannabis became legal in Thailand, and Beijing had its antenna up. They certainly don't want any form of drugs in China. Anyway, long story short, I read that story about the German executive, and I freaked out because I'm like, I had no idea that the Chinese officials were testing people who returned from a holiday in Thailand, because I've done that many times. I came from Thailand, well, I went from Thailand to China this summer. I went there the year before. Yeah, I mean, all this time, could I have been pulled over? Could I have been tested? Well, now, I have to say, cannabis is not my thing. I guess I am just a beer and wine guy. If they tested my blood, they would not find anything. Well, I don't know what they'd find, but they wouldn't find any cannabis. So in that sense, I shouldn't be worried. But what is going on? The story, which was reported in South China Morning Post, which is Hong Kong, a fine, reputable paper. Maybe it still is in some ways. Anyway, the story was rather, how can we say, lacking in detail. So I had a lot of questions, still have a lot of questions. Why was he tested? You know, my guess is that some government official knew something. Like, I don't know, maybe he had posted a video partying in Thailand, or maybe he was with some other people who ratted him out. I really don't know. And I don't know if they test people randomly, if they test just foreigners, if they test Chinese as well. I know this, according to Summer, my wife. She says Chinese people are not going to Thailand like they had been over the last 5 or 10 years. That I think there's a little bit of government persuasion. They just don't want to deal with the trouble, and you know, people are naturally cautious, and they say, well, why risk it? I can go to another place. I guess that's natural. But to go to the original point, why I'm freaked out, I mean, well, I'm gonna fly tomorrow. And like I said, I have no idea what the, I don't know, the rules are. Nothing has ever been posted that they could pull you aside and test your blood. Oh, and I have to point out, and this is really important, at least it seems important to me. He was not carrying any cannabis with him. He was not taking drugs into China. It was just in his system. And it was in his system while he was in a country where it's legal. Now, in America, you know, I spent most of my life in America in California where it's legal. And can you just imagine all the tourists who are from California, who fly to, well, I was going to say all the tourists who fly to China for vacation, but sadly, and this is a good topic for another video, there really aren't that many tourists going to China anymore from America, which I think is really sad. I'll take up that topic in another video. Anyway, my freak out point is I am going to fly tomorrow. I have no idea, you know, who they might pull aside, if they're pulling people aside. Like I said, my suspicion is that they were tipped off about this guy. Maybe I'm just rationalizing that that's the only way it makes sense to me. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, let's just take the principle. If cannabis is legal in one country and you are flying to another country where it isn't, but you are not taking the drugs with you, should you be, I guess, held liable, held criminally liable for having something in your system from when you did it legally? You know, actually, I saw this dilemma on a TV show in America once. There's this cop TV show set in New York, Blue Bloods, with Tom Selleck. You know, it's really a pretty, it's one of these don't have to think too much TV shows. But here was the situation. One of New York's, I guess, police captains was in Colorado, where pot is legal. And when he came back from vacation to New York, I don't know, I can't remember the plot, but maybe they had regular checks for police officers for drugs or whatever. And he was found with some in his system. And then the police commissioner, I guess, had to make a ruling whether to, condone this, forget about it, or to discipline the captain. And as it turned out, he disciplined the captain. Yeah. For what it's worth. Anyway, I am flying tomorrow, as I've said, I think 3 times in this video already. I will have a little apprehension. I can't imagine that I will be in any trouble, you know, especially since I've got nothing in my system, you know, even if they do pull me aside and test me. But it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right that someone can be held criminally responsible for doing something legal in a country he was in. What do you guys think? Oh, and by the way, for those who are not following the Thailand news, Thailand is having second thoughts about having made cannabis legal. Yeah, a senior minister announced that they are going to revoke this law. Nothing has happened yet. It's still legal, and maybe, you know, he will be successful or maybe not, but that is certainly on the docket here in Thailand. A couple things before I end this video. One is, I don't know if you've noticed, I don't know if it's noticeable, but I have been hesitant in, I don't know, in saying the word cannabis. I don't know what to call it, because I don't know what the YouTube rules are regarding this. So maybe I should just use some euphemisms.
Ditchweed. Boo. The old Alibaba. Magic Dragon. Bumbleachi. Yellow Submarine. Black Bart. Dr. Giggles. Kentucky Blue. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about railroad weed. That's right. The devil's parsley. Skunk. Splim. Splam. Mooster. Side salad.
And then my final thought, you know, because of my freak out, because of my cautious nature, I am not going to post this video until I am securely in China and a free man. You can understand, right? Okay, now I am going to end the video, finally. I want to thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. If you liked this video, please press the like button. Drop a comment below. What are your thoughts? Is it fair? And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe. All right, till next time, I hope you see me. Bye.